The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Scheduled programming to bring you a show on the edge, broadcasting worldwide and out to the greater universe. You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Well, for those of you who are expecting to hear Ralph Epperson for the whole hour, I'm going to apologize to you here in advance. We spoke earlier in the week. We were scheduled to record his presentation, which was going to debut here on the John Lebang Show. And he was going to challenge Darwin's theory of evolution. But Mr. Epperson, he informed me that he wasn't quite finished with his presentation and putting it all together. So by his request, we are postponing the airing of his presentation to some future date that we'll set down the road somewhere. But we did have a short conversation, and you'll want to stick around for that. But as fate has it, sometimes you lose something, as in not getting the debut of the presentation from Mr. Epperson tonight. But then you get something dropped in your lap. We have huge news to cover, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. Everybody's been covering it. It's been the talk of the country all week. And that's the Limp Letter Bomber. That's what we're going to call him. Because his bombs were so inept, nobody got hurt. And, well, that's a good thing. We don't want people to get hurt. We've been talking about how the country is just going crazy and people are becoming extremists. You can't help but wonder, going, wow, what excellent timing for the Democrats. I mean, it's like the ultimate October surprise, beyond the exoteric interpretation brought to you by the mainstream media and the agencies we so trust in this great country of ours. The mainstream media, man, they jumped right on this guy. I mean, they gave him a nickname right from the get-go. What a clever name.
The MAGA Bomber.
So clever, right? He was so MAGA that his bombs fell short. But the Limp Letter Bomber is being portrayed by the mainstream media. I mean, they jumped all over this. And how can you blame them, right? We have some questions to ask, ladies and gentlemen. So let's do this. Let's run some sound bites for you. Mr. Jeff Sessions had a press. I mean, there was an army of guys there. Everybody had to be part of this press conference on Friday because they captured this guy. I mean, you couldn't have done a better job if Hollywood would have created a movie around this guy. I mean, we're going to see this. Can you see it in The MAGA Bomber? The fall of 2018. I'm glad nobody got hurt. But when the convenience of the whole thing happens, it's sent to most of these people don't matter anymore, too. Everybody it was sent to, like Obama. I mean, what is he? He's not in the government anymore. He doesn't matter. Hillary Clinton, she gets one. She doesn't matter. And it's not like the authorities didn't know of this guy. He was arrested multiple times. He'd been in trouble with the law for years. So they had his fingerprints on file. They probably had his DNA on file. Let's listen to some of these sound bites from Mr. Jeff Sessions.
Over the past week, more than a dozen suspicious packages have been sent through the United States Postal Service to a media outlet, a Hollywood actor, and at least 7 high-ranking current and former political leaders in the Democratic Party.
So Mr. Jeff Sessions begins the press conference by saying, these were sent through the mail. Well, that's interesting. Can you please show me a package with a postmark on it? Because every package that has been made available to the public, the media, and the media then made it public, we don't see any postmark on any of these packages, let alone the bomb. It doesn't look too sophisticated, and obviously it must not have been that well engineered because none of them went off. So we have our first question of the night, and it begins with Mr. Jeff Sessions saying that these went through the post office. And if that is true, then where is the postmark on these packages? Let us continue.
Political violence or the threat of violence is antithetical to our vigorous system of self-government. It is a threat to that respect for law and process that allows our people to accept legislation, elections, court rulings with which they do not agree. This is the central feature of our system of government. You advocate for your beliefs enthusiastically, but we peaceably and lawfully comply with the results.
Notice how he put that in there. To me, that sounds like a little message inside the message. Now listen closely to these words.
Please know that from the beginning, this investigative team has made this matter a top priority, focusing their great talents and expertise on neutralizing this threat. They have moved swiftly and professionally, using extraordinary technical expertise to apprehend the one alleged responsible. This is a demonstration of the skill, capability, and determination of our American law enforcement.
We did such a great job. We found the guy that had inept bombs. We found him. We're awesome. We're awesome. All the law enforcement agencies involved, we did a great job. We did a great job.
He has been charged today with 5 federal crimes, including interstate transportation of an explosive, illegal mailing of explosives, threats against former presidents and certain other persons, threatening interstate communications, and assaulting current and former federal officers. For these charges, the defendant faces up to 58 years in prison. These charges may change or expand as the investigation proceeds.
So all they're doing is charging him so they can hold him, so he can't go out in the public. He can't tell you his point of view. There's no way he's going to get bond to get out of and to go on his own, because he's going to be a flea risk. He probably can't even get bond on that level because of who he is, just a nobody at the bottom of the barrel person in America that was struggling his whole life probably. He had nothing. Everything we can tell, he was just the average low-income guy who's just struggling to live. You know, the guy all the Democrats hate. He's been arrested, so it's guaranteed they've had his fingerprints on file. Most likely, they've gotten his DNA one way or the other. You couldn't have wrote a better October surprise. Let's continue.
Federal, state, and local law enforcement officers from across this country responded immediately to the cause and contributed to this effort. We are proud of each one of them.
We did a good job. Whatever we did, we did a good job. Everybody involved did a great job at catching the bad guy who had the limp bomb. It's all very interesting at a time when nobody trusts the FBI, at a time when nobody likes the Democrats, at a time when it looks like the tides were turning in favor of the Republicans again. They were tightening up all the races. Some guy just out of the woodwork goes nuts, sends a bunch of plastic bombs filled with who knows what. They won't tell us exactly what it is. And would you believe him anyways? let's take this somewhere else just for a minute here, just so you know where I'm going. This coming from an agency because, it's the FBI involved. They were the ones who helped out the Federal Reserve bomber make a bomb, although it was a fake bomb, so they could bust him. That was in 2012, folks. Now we have another Schmendrick. He looks like somebody who was on 24 or CSI. Big investigator guy. Let's listen to what he has to say.
As the Attorney General has confirmed, we have arrested Cesar Sayoc in connection with this investigation. As our investigation is still ongoing, I may not be able to answer questions about his background or about his motive. What I can say is that this was a nationwide investigation of enormous scope and of the greatest importance.
We did a great job. We did a great job. They did a great job, folks. Trust them. Trust our law enforcement agencies because they did a great job. Of course, they knew about this guy. He had threatened to bomb somebody in the past. Didn't pick him up, didn't send him away to prison forever, didn't get him out of the population, just let him sit there. They knew about him. He's been arrested multiple times, so they had his fingerprints on file. At some point, they probably, this is me speculating now because I don't want to say this is fact, but they probably, when you're in jail as often as this guy was, they probably have your DNA. Probably copped it somewhere. Let's continue.
And as it always does, the FBI responded with every resource we've got.
Let me play that again and then think about what I was saying about the Federal Reserve bomber.
And as it always does, the FBI responded with every resource we've got.
With every resource we've got. We know one resource is a tactic that they use where they supply fake bomb materials to terrorists so they can bust them. So we have a nut job with a long history of being in jail. He's a steroid user on top of that, so his brain's probably not all there. Send out bombs that are probably less efficient than a firecracker. I dropped a bigger bomb in the toilet earlier this morning. You've known about the guy. There doesn't seem to be any postmarks on the packages that we are being shown. Actually, I don't have the video on today. I was going to show you the cups, but I have these beautiful John Lebang Show cups. Quick little advert, if you let me indulge myself for a moment. These little cups here, which, probably weigh as much as what was sent in the mail to all these former Democrat, higher-ranking people, CNN. This glass, I would say this cup right here, empty now, probably weighed at least as much as what they're saying was sent to these politicians. These things cost about $9 to send to somebody. I can't just throw on 6 little stamps, forever stamps, and mail my glass package to anybody in the country. But this guy, with no postmarks, somehow sends a $3, they're 50 cents right now, right? Stamps are 50 cents right now. So they send $3 worth to send this package. That's pretty cheap. Got to give credit to the post office. I don't know why my post office isn't that cheap. This guy can send packages all over the country for $3 a piece, no postmark. So, man, I don't know how that happened. Is there a postal worker out there that can tell me how the postmark works? And can you tell me why they even have a postmark? Because this one doesn't have a postmark. Look at these packages being displayed for the world and tell me where the postmark is. I don't see one. And I can tell you $3 is not going to be able to send a package, at least not in my neighborhood. Didn't cost me $3. I would have sent a whole bunch out if it was only $3. I probably would have sold more as well because people only $3 for shipping. I was charging like $6 or $8 for shipping and covering some of the loss on the shipping for these things. I would have more sales. But apparently this guy can send packages all over the country with $3 on each one of them. I want to go to that post office. Just saying. Let's continue.
But, and I really can't underscore this enough, we did not act alone.
Now this is the FBI guy saying they didn't act alone. He's also said that they used every resource they had in apprehending this guy. Let's listen carefully to the next curious statement.